Hello, and welcome again, y'all, to Code Red Anime with your hosts, Duncan, Jared, and Eric. If we combine those, what is it? Dodge? Dodge or Jad?
Jad.
Jad?
You could do
we can't do
DEJ.
Adju. We
You
can't
could
do
do
that.
DEJ. Duncan
D-
Eric. Oh, no, Dash.
Dash,
No,
yeah.
you said right, Dash.
Let's go Dodge. It's a fancy.
Dodge.
Okay, let's go
Okay.
Dodge. Let's go Dodge. All right, guys. So today, y'all, if y'all don't know, we're doing old school and new school comparisons when it comes to anime, and basically choosing like which one do we prefer if we have seen it. Of course, you're gonna have animes that people haven't seen. You're gonna have animes that people are too familiar with, and basically the premise of it is almost similar story, but also similar like plot development. I would say something along those lines. Like, I'll give you one that we probably might go over, like Pokemon versus Digimon. Like clearly similar. Like they existed at the same time. You know what I'm saying? But we kind of want to go. We got a long list, so we kind of want to kind of go down to it. So, actually, this one right here. So we might combine it. So I want to show the first one to y'all, and it is Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho. But I'm seeing from both my co-hosts that Demon Slayer is in this, right? In this comparison with Bleach. So I want to hear from you guys, like how, first of all, for the Demon Slayer part, how do you guys feel like Demon Slayer kind of compares with Bleach in regards to things?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
So one thing that I feel like Demon Slayer really capitalized on is sort of how every person has their own unique fighting style. That's like Bleach has. So like obviously in Bleach, they're all samurais. That's the whole thing. And most of them will, do a typical style, but all the I know Ichigo's the main character, but the main cast will say all of them fight uniquely with their swords based on what they do. And they do capitalize on that a lot in Demon Slayer because it's water, fire, wind, love, poison, and everybody got their own unique style. And then what I also like to think that Demon Slayer borrowed from Bleach is, so in Bleach, I'm sure most of you watching have seen this, they have their Shikai and their Bankai, right? The two states of their sword. But what I like to think about in Demon Slayer is like there's 12 forms, and how I like to look at it as the higher number they go, it's a more unique and more powerful form. Hence, sort of like we'll call them Shikai like styles, and then like the top ones are like their Bankai styles, like their most powerful techniques. And even we know like in Bleach, when someone uses like their Shikai or Bankai, there's multiple attacks with that state. So I kind of like to see that bounce back and forth between the two series. So that's kind of how I view it.
Okay. And what about you, Eric?
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of what Jared said. I also think with like the fighting styles, like you mentioned, the breathing styles and everything, the main character in Demon Slayer, you see him learn from different people over and over and over again and adapt his style to their style of sword fighting. And he's like a colorless kind of fighter. Where with Ichigo, it's kind of the same thing. In each arc of that, he's learning from a new enemy, a new style to fight, a new way to like handle this threat. That then moves on to the next state, the next arc, and it keeps going. And you see that in Tanjiro. I forgot his name for a second. In Demon Slayer, like he's constantly like evolving the same way that Ichigo does. And then obviously like they're hunting demons. I mean, they're spirits and hollows in Bleach, but they're essentially demons. And like it's a whole society built around fighting it. You have the Soul Society, you have the Demon Slayer Corps, and they all have like these types of training. Now Ichigo obviously doesn't go through it, but you see Tanjiro and then Ryuka and everything, like their history of going to these classes and learning everything and fighting and getting stronger, then graduating to a professional slayer or Shikigami.
Okay. Shoot. Okay, I didn't even think about that stuff, honestly. Okay. All right, now I can see it.
Okay.
Damn.
And if you want, I was going to say, and if you want to like sort of compare the plots, right? Like Bleach, Demon Slayer, nobody with no skills suddenly is granted powers, and as we progress through, suddenly they have all these secret little add-ins. Like Tanjiro's now like his bloodline obviously has a huge factor in how powerful he actually is, depending on how hard he's pushed. Ichigo, first he's human, then he's Shinigami, then he's going to see that he's a Rancor. So they both just get these power boosts sprinkled in, and sort of the path they're set on is sort of forced by a higher power. So for Tanjiro, his family is killed by the head demon. For Ichigo, his mom was killed by a very unique Arrancar facilitated by Aizen. So, it's these outside people sort of forcing them into this path that normally wouldn't never happen. Like Tanjiro, he makes charcoal. That's what his family did. He's going to do for the rest of his life. Ichigo, he was going to be a kid. Like he's in high school. He was in college and I don't know, get a job and be it, right?
Well, he was a punk. He was just fighghting all the time too because he had orange hair. So it's like he didn't have much of a path ahead of him, I feel like.
Okay, so the reason why I was comparing Bleach to Yu Hakusho is like, as you guys say, plot, right? As you said nobody that somehow got powers, right? I say plot armor baited motherfucker who like turns out he's not a regular human, but due to circumstances, now we find out that he's basically God. Like because like think about it, right? With Yusuke, he was a normal human. Got run over, like just like Ichigo, fought everybody. You know what I'm saying? He had a rival / friend who also fought people, right? Kind of thing. But their whole thing was they were the punks of the school. While still being smart, they just didn't really do that. They cared for either somebody, the female support cast and everything like that. And they're entered into the other world due to their death or somebody from death, right? Now, Soul Reapers are basically the Grim Reapers, right? Technically speaking. Yusuke then, met and led by Botan, who is the Grim Reaper, right? On top of that, the same thing with the development. They start off rookies and they develop over time, get masters, and they end up with a squad that like, or people that you didn't think would all be together. And then next thing you know, oh shoot, sorry, secret bloodline. I didn't know I was related to Demon Jesus. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then on Ichigo's end, it was like, you are everything in existence at once. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm not gonna bring in the plot armor for certain stuff, Ichigo, but that's why I feel like it's a comparison. I feel like because Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, created the afterlife detective police type of deal. That's why we see a lot of Yusuke and his group in Bleach.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I compared those two.
I will say Chad is way cooler than Kuwabara.
Yes.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro.
So?
Cool.
Like
Chad got a cannon arm.
Yeah.
Kuwabara got a sword.
And he can make it longer.
And he could cut dimensions.
Oh, Chad got these hands. And he got La Muerte.
Yeah.
As we all know, that left hook is a problem.
He got but Kuwabara got the Ice Princess. See what I'm saying?
That's fair.
See what I'm saying? He got it. You know what I'm saying? All right. Next, I want Eric to kind of so Eric, I want you to explain the shows.
Okay.
Right. Because I actually haven't seen these. So if they're interesting, I definitely want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Compare the shows and then tell me how they're similar.
Absolutely. All right, cool. I thought it was gonna be this one too. So Darker Than Black is really cool. It's follows the main character where he's kind of an assassin for like a secret organization type situation, but in the world, everyone who has who's associated with a star in the night sky has special powers. They have a contract in order to use these powers. So, like someone can use their powers and they have to break their finger after using it. Like that's the contract they have. They have to hurt themselves in order to, like, once they're done using it. And there's like some people where they have to drink or they have to gamble or like it's all these weird contracts in order to use their powers. And it's essentially like there's someone going around and what's up?
This is Darker Than Black?
Darker Than Black.
What the hell? Okay. Wait, no, because like, oh shoot, this is throwing it out there. Doesn't that kind of sound like some of these people in Chainsaw Man?
Yes, it's very similar.
Similar.
Like how that happens.
So if you want, you
I
can
didn't even
sprinkle the
think
Chainsaw
about
on that.
relating those. I should have added that to it too, man. But,
okay, shoot.
So it's cool. And you never know the main character's contract. You just know he has abilities and stuff. But then there's like one of his partners is a black cat. He can send his body into any living being, and he was human at one point, but he doesn't remember his body. Once he transfers from one body to another, he can never go back to the other body, the previous one. So he's just in a cat form and like can still control stuff, then goes back into another black cat, which is pretty cool. Now, Bungo Stray Dogs is similar, that these people have specific abilities. They have these powers. It's not necessarily contracted and stuff, but they're also an agency trying to track down and keep peace within Tokyo, I believe. But the power structure seems very similar, where it's not really like a contract, but there are things that the people have to do or just do. And you kind of think it's like, is that part of like why they can use their power? Like the one dude, he's one of the dudes, he's really cool, but he's constantly trying to kill himself, but he can't die. So he just keeps trying to commit suicide. Like you'll find him just like hanging, and the main character's like, what is this? He's like, it didn't work. Like, but like you have another guy who he can write in a notebook, and whatever he writes in the notebook, if he writes grenade in it, a grenade spawns in his hand, and he can like pull a gun out of it and everything. So whatever he writes down, he can create. But the powers in those really, I was like, that really seems very similar to each other, and they're both awesome animes. I would highly suggest it. And the twists in them too, like the main character in Bungo Stray Dogs has like a spirit inside him that turns him into
isn't it a white tiger?
A white tiger, yeah,
right?
Yeah. But like you have no idea what's going on there, and he has no memory of why it happens. He lived in like an orphanage and he escaped and all this stuff, and you're just learning more about him with that. And the main character in Darker Than Black, same thing. He has these powers. You never see his contract. All you ever see is him constantly eating. So you're making this assumption that, oh, when he uses his power, he has to eat like 20 pounds of food because he's constantly eating a ton of food after like a hit or whatever he does. But the way those both progress are very similar, and how they start revealing stuff, the characters you've met, the team they're working with, the development of all of them is very similar.
Man, hold on. Did you just say somebody can just write anything they want in a notebook and he
Yep.
like okay, no, hold on. Let's pause real quick, bro. I want to know what, like, all right, let's be real, right? Anime, we love anime. Some of the plots make sense, some of them don't. When you hear shit like that, where I can write down anything in this book and my limit is my imagination,
Right.
that means who can defeat you?
Right.
Who can if I write, some like sentence where it's like weapon that can defeat this dude in front of me, and it spawns the weapon.
So I think the restriction is it has to be like a real world object for the most part. So it can't just. I mean, you can still like, oh, this guy's weak to fire. I can create a sword that's on fire. Yeah. But I think there's still some limits to what he can do, and also like he doesn't always have his notebook or a pen, or he's missing it. So they find ways to be like, this guy could be OP, but we found a way that like this is he can't win. Yeah. Like because they have like an agency building, and in one of them someone shows up to like with like bombs strapped to him to go blow it up, and his book is across the room on his desk, and he's like, shit.
All right.
But he's also, I think he's not the leader, but he does give out he's like right below the leader, like second in command. So he's not always going out with them and doing missions and everything too. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jared. So hold on, which one do you prefer?
Oh, I love Darker Than Black. I just recently watched Bungo Stray Dogs, like maybe last year, but Darker Than Black, it's impossible to find anywhere. It's not on any streaming site. The DVDs are like so hard to come by. I have the first 3 and then like 6. And they're like 4 and 5 are like $60 for one of them. It's like there was some issues with it back in the day, but it's one of my favorites. It's just so hard to find.
Okay. And forgot to ask for that. Do y'all prefer Bleach or Yu Yu Hakusho?
I love Yu Yu Hakusho. I like, if it's between the two of them, I love it more than Bleach.
Okay.
I gotta be a Bleach lover, bro. I gotta love Bleach.
Over Yusuke Urameshi?
Don't get me wrong, I love Yusuke, but Bankai is it's so iconic.
Hey, listen. There was 2 waves going on in the 90s, all right? There was Kamehameha and the Spirit Gun. All right. All right. I get Bunkai because it sounds cool. Okay. But man, Dark Tournament?
Dark Tournament was best. I ain't gonna lie.
right? Like, oh, what are we talking about?
Mhm.
That? Nah, you good, Jared. Don't worry.
But I will say, like, with the progression of power, I love Yusuke's more. He goes from spirit gun to spirit cannon, like all
Yeah.
that's like, and then with Ichigo, I see where it's like that dude's just a god at some point, isn't he?
Yeah,
Like,
no, every time the thing about Ichigo that always pisses me off is that they're like, if he does this, he will lose his power forever.
And then he gets it back.
And then he gets it back. It turns out that wasn't the true power. All right, bro.
if he
All
does
right.
this, he'll become a hollow forever. Oh, but he's
It
fine.
turns out his dad was a soul reaper. Like, he didn't know shit about it, but now, and his mom was a Quincy, apparently. Like, okay, like, man, look, I could go into plot holes with Bleach forever. So let me get that out of the way. Jared, you sent something that I can't see how it happened. You sent me a comparison that I don't know can be compared, but I'm interested in how you compare it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist and
Fullmetal
Brotherhood compared to Attack on Titan. Let me hear your reasoning, sir.
So if we so let's compare both of their backgrounds, right? So with Ed and his brother, right? They lose everything. They lost their family. Same plot. So like both of them lose their families, right? And obviously, depending on what happens, they could have both gone on the wrong path. But both of them believe they're making the right decision. So with Ed and his brother, they both go join the alchemists, right? To help go fight terrorists, blah, blah, blah. And also potentially even wreck their mother with the Philosopher's Stone. And then with Attack on Titan, he joins the most, obviously, we'll call it the worst job ever in the world, because they have
child warriors are bad.
Yeah, with the most exposure to running into Titans. Also, they can get some answers because they know that's when they find out there's answers outside the wall. But the only group that does that is their patrol, so they have to join it. And from there, actually, one of the things I also like for them, they both, I would say they technically have the same technology, right? So like the both of them sort of have like steam, sort of, not steampunk, but like sort of that steam technology. They both technically have electricity. The weapons, they both have rifles, guns. And Attack on Titan, the only major difference you would compare is their weapons are designed to fight Titans. But other than the Titan fighting weapons, same tech. They have cannon and stuff, the same thing as in Fullmetal Alchemist. Both have the sleeper badass character. So in Attack on Titan, we got Mr. Levi. And in Fullmetal Alchemist, technically you could say it's Risa, Mustang's lieutenant, but in reality, it's Armstrong's sister, because as we all know, she's a problem when she starts fighting people. And the only difference is obviously Ed is his brother, he's a sister. But sort of the same line. And then obviously they're fighting Titans as their, I guess you could call them their monsters. But in Fullmetal Alchemist, my cat was in my lap. He just decided to like eat himself out of my lap. But in Fullmetal Alchemist, they have the homunculus, right, which are supernatural, really hard to kill. So that's why I was kind of sort of comparing them side by side. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still different, but like, what would we like classify them genre-wise, right? Like, I would technically say that Attack on Titan 2, just because of how gory it can get, could be considered horror to a degree. Horror, action, thriller. What do you call them when there's like a mystery?
Mystery.
Mystery? Oh, just mystery? I guess, yeah. So like technically I would classify them in the same category, like just straight down the line. It's just, slightly different plot versus enemies.
I got one thing I could add too is in both you have a government that actually underneath it all is very corrupt and messed up.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Okay, you got that. Oh yeah, no, he's correct. Because the corruption of the government started with the building of that world, basically.
Yes,
the walls and everything.
And then the royal family in Attack on Titan, like whether they're just oblivious to it and don't realize, they don't know anymore, like the royal family covered it up that they're not actually trapped. Like it's very corrupt, and like I think the king is like a complete idiot. He has no.
The king was a figurehead.
Yeah,
he actually isn't even part of the royal family. He was just a random guy they chose because he stayed silent. I think he was senile, actually.
Oh my god!
Right, but he had a menacing look to him when he chilled out. So, oh man, that was a good ass plot twist too when they showed he was basically like a senile old man.
Oh man,
I was like, oh, this is good. Like, This is good. I ain't gonna lie. The addition of corrupt government to
It really sealed the deal. Like it.
it
I thought
sealed
I
the
could help
deal to
out.
me on Attack on Titan, but
Mm.
with Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Mm.
finding out that the entire structure of basically the continent's history was all based on corruption is amazing.
Mhm.
And finding out it was all there,
Yeah.
all those wars, all that just to make a huge transmutation circle.
Mhm.
What?
All of it for Philosopher's Stones and everything too. Like,
What? I ain't gonna lie. I can't pick out of these two. I know
Both
I have
are
to, though.
phenomenal.
Mhm.
I have to though. All right. If okay. If I'm gonna be real with you, everything about both animes check off every box. However, one box that checks for Full Metal Alchemist that Attack on Titan doesn't check for me is repeatable.
Mhm.
Right? I can watch Full Metal Alchemist again and again and still be entertained. I cannot do that with Attack on Titan.
Mhm.
Even like Full Metal Alchemist, even with the like kind of filler conversations and that, I'm still tuned in.
Mhm.
Attack on Titan, I know to skip this part because this part's about to happen and like so. I'm gonna have to take Full Metal on this one.
Mhm.
I mean, Brotherhood's still my favorite anime. So,
Yeah.
and just like, there's been plenty of series like where there's like a bigger and you're like, damn. But like, I still don't think there's been an anime that made me go like, damn, like Full Metal Alchemist did when they revealed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, when we found out Fewer Bradley was a homunculus, we were like, oh, what?
Mhm.
It was like, he's just really good at sword fighting. It's like, no, actually, he's part of it too.
Yeah.
That dude, what is he? Wrath? Like that was Wrath.
He was Wrath, yeah.
The most calm person there. And you saw when he took out like all the soldiers, like
Yeah.
His eye was a cheat code.
Yep.
like, no.
Now, did they change who he was in Brotherhood from? Was he Pride and then Wrath?
I
Didn't
think
they
he was
change
always
some of the
Wrath.
names? Okay, he was always
I
Wrath.
think he was always Wrath.
Pride. What was Pride?
Pride
Pride
his
was
son?
the kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
think
Shadow Kid. Yeah, he was broken too with his powers. Like, that's insane.
Mhm.
because
The
I
Shadow
think he
powers.
was the first. I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pride was the first because that's what that little creature in the
The jar.
bottle
The
felt.
Dwarf in the
Yeah.
Flask is what he's
That
called.
was
Little-
that was the one thing about humanity that he saw first was
Mhm.
Pride. Then it was, I think it was Wrath after
Right.
or Greed. One or two. Because remember when the difference between all the homunculuses and Bradley was human, and then they made
Became.
him into Wrath.
Mhm.
Everybody else was a straight up homunculus.
Right.
Like I made you. So, oh man. So there's that. Oh my god. All right. I got one for y'all. And it's again, it's like a double thing. So basically it's us comparing Hunter x Hunter, y'all.
Mm.
So we got Hunter x Hunter versus Solo Leveling. And I also put Hunter x Hunter versus
Mhm.
Naruto.
Mm.
So which one y'all want to tackle first?
You could do Naruto.
Okay.
You
So-
take care of that one.
For those who, and we kind of know this. For those who don't know, a major part of Naruto comes from Hunter x Hunter. Kurapika and his clan being killed for their red pearly eyes that reflect their emotion,
Mm.
and he then makes it his mission to then kill said person for killing the clan, right? Kill people for killing the clan.
Right.
That's where that comes from. The Hunter exam, right,
Tuning.
Tuning exam.
basically influenced the tuning exam.
Damn, I didn't even think about all those.
That's actually a really good comparison.
And then they tried to put the main character as like this kind of goofy, kind of innocent, but not really kid who, again, comes from a badass father,
Mhm.
right? Gene is like top 5, maybe hunters of all time.
Mhm.
And as you know, Minato is basically top 3 in Hokages,
Mhm.
right? But they didn't want to paint you as that. They wanted it to be a mystery. And then on top of that, I think is that message of you can lose your humanity the more you seek humanity,
Mhm.
right? Naruto and Gon's whole thing. By the way, I'm gonna just say y'all right now, Gon ain't no damn hero. But no, if you really Gon ain't no
Mhm.
hero. If he doesn't feel like you belong in his circle,
Yeah.
it's fuck you. Like,
Mhm.
like Gon actually does not care about you. And we saw that in the Chimera Ant arc
Mhm.
where they were trying to heal the little girl who I think she was blind, right? Was she
Yeah.
blind?
Mhm.
Mhm.
They were trying to heal the little girl, and she's like, I gotta heal her. And his whole mind was, but you ain't heal Kite.
Mhm.
And if you can't heal Kite, I'm gonna kill her and you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was like, damn, what the girl do to you, bro? But
Hey
and
man,
then
be easy on
Naruto,
him. He's a
I'm
victim of sexual
saying,
assault.
like,
He's a
like,
victim of
Mad as
sexual
hell.
assault, dude. Look at the Joker, dude.
man, this man sold his soul basically to then go, I want to sell my no, I ain't gonna say it because I ain't gonna say it. But he sold his soul to basically be able to whoop her ass. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then on the Naruto end, Naruto had to constantly fight the rage
Mhm.
of like trying to protect people and then failing to do it. Right. See, so both of them sought out protection, and when they failed to protect, were at a test of if you lose your humanity or not.
Mhm.
Gon actually did lose his.
Yeah.
I don't care what y'all say. Gon actually did lose his. It's just the fact that his ass recovered.
Dude
Naruto
aged
didn't
himself
lose
30 years.
exactly. Like, Naruto didn't lose his.
Yeah.
Naruto didn't lose his. And I think that concept was a big
Well,
deal back then.
You do see it, I feel like, in like when he goes into like the nine tail form when he's real
if it wasn't
angry,
for
he
the
does
necklace
lose
Tsunade
it.
gave him, though, he was
Mhm.
gone. That was the
Yeah.
thing, though. To be
Which
fair
one?
for Naruto, the
Which
necklace is what brought Naruto back.
The necklace that broke in a minute.
It
No,
gave
I
enough
ain't bring that
time.
nigga back. Hold on.
It gave enough
No,
time.
that
Okay.
shit broke. That shit was useless.
No, but
Actually,
when they took him off of Kakashi's team, and I forget the guy's name, who was like one of the Hokage's kids too, the wood jutsu guy.
Mhm.
They specifically put him as the leader because he could handle the nine tails.
and it turned out to be false.
Well, yeah,
He got folded too. Hey, yo, let's be real. They nerfed Naruto. Let's just get that out there. They nerfed the Nine Tails in general.
Mhm.
Like the Nine Tails was this badass monster who can solo a village, nuke mountains, all
Mhm.
that stuff. Orochimaru whooped his ass with a long neck. That's crazy. I'm just saying, like that's crazy. Like, but their concepts, besides the fact that one actually did derive some of their stuff from the other, I
Mhm.
feel like where Hunter x Hunter fails and Naruto goes is that the plot development has nothing to do with the main hero.
Mhm.
It has everything to do with the what's it, the dude-tagonist? What's it called? Like the main tagonist is like rival
His
slash
yeah, you can say his rival.
what? Yeah, rival.
The
right?
antagonist.
No, that's the enemy. The
Oh.
antagonist is enemy or the bad guy in the story.
Mhm.
But basically, Hunter x Hunter, their development has nothing to do with really going in a positive way. It's a negative way,
Mhm.
right?
Killua.
Killua
Mhm.
is the one that actually has a positive upshift
He does gain
throughout that
humanity.
whole
You're right.
story. He goes from heartless killer to protector.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Naruto had Sasuke go from I want to kill this dude to I want to kill this dude
Mhm.
to I want to kill this other dude.
Mhm.
And then Naruto goes from I gotta protect everybody till I still gotta protect everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying? Their development, like, don't get me wrong, it has nothing to do with strength.
Mhm.
It's the character. Their characters, in my opinion, don't change. The only person who actually had a change of character, period, is Neji.
Mm.
That is the only person. Everybody else stuck to what they knew.
Mm.
And you could say Shikamaru too. Shikamaru
Yeah.
went from lazy genius to active genius, basically.
Mhm.
So there's
I
that.
feel like Gara also had a little bit of a change.
Oh,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
right?
He went from evil demon child
Yeah.
to like, hey, I
Which-
can be good too and help.
Mhm.
I can
To be fair, he ain't sleep in months. I think years actually.
because he was tormented by Shikaku, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. You would be homicidal too if you couldn't sleep for 10 years, basically,
Yeah.
right? Like,
And he was a weapon for the Sand
Yeah,
Village.
like-
So like
He wasn't
that's just
treated
his
like a
life.
person.
like his
Yeah.
own dad wanted to kill him
Yeah.
after being the reason why he had Shikaku.
Right.
And then let's test him out. Let's go send his best friend that cares about him to kill him too.
hmm
Right? Like, Naruto's a fucked up world.
But hey, Naruto's got the ultimate power of all, friendship.
Yes,
And he's
talk no
fixed
jutsu.
so many things by just befriending the person he kicked the shit out of.
To be fair, it has nothing to do with Naruto when you look at it though. Naruto, when he talks that talk no jutsu bullshit,
Mhm.
it's because the other person isn't like inherently evil.
Right.
They're trying to basically fix the world as they wanted it. Like Pain, Pain was Sasuke. So people don't realize this. Sasuke was trying to copy Pain's motive, right?
Mhm.
The world needs a common villain to stop fighting amongst each other.
Mhm.
I will be that villain. They will know Pain. That was his whole thing. And we looked at that and went, bad guy, right?
Mhm.
But then when Sasuke busts out like, this is all because the Kages, I'm gonna let everybody in the world hate me. Everybody's like, I can understand Sasuke. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
right? So at what point, right, do we just go, are they actually a villain or they just have a different point of view
Yeah.
from what we are,
And
recognized for? Because remember, Eren, to the world, he's a villain.
Mhm.
To the people of Paradise, he's a hero. But
Yeah.
tell me this: in what story, right? After the fact, right? We got to meet the Attack on Titan. This is the villain's. This is the villain's backstory. That's what Attack on
It's the
Titan is.
origin, yeah.
It's the origin story. If you started Attack on Titan with the rumbling
Mhm.
Mhm.
and then led back into Eren's beginning, you will look at it like, I don't care. That man killed 80% of the world. Like a baby was about to die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you saw that, but because we saw Eren's point of view first, we call him a hero. It's some shit. Perfection is some shit. But now, how do you guys compare it to Solo Leveling now? Hunter x Hunter.
So with that, I was looking at the Hunter Society, where they both have Hunter Societies that now Solo Leveling, it's an innate ability that awakens in you. You get tested, you get assigned a rank or whatever. But in Hunter x Hunter, you do the exam and everything. So, so that's like the big thing is the Hunter Societies themselves. There's these creatures that everyone's going out to fight and everything. Now, Gon is obviously continuously getting stronger and stronger. Dude's like 8 years old and like whooping the ass of these like 30-year-olds and stuff that he's going to fight against. And same with Killua. Like they both just keep getting progressively stronger. And then in Solo Leveling, you obviously see that that's the plot of the whole show is he's just leveling up to max god level and he's just going to wreck the world, I think, at some point. But really the main tie for those two, I was like, right off the bat, when I started watching Solo Leveling and like it showed the main character Sunwoo get like his hunter license. I'm like, oh no shit, a hunter license. Okay, I'm behind this.
Fair enough. Okay.
And then Jared, do you feel like these two also compare as well?
I would say so because even like besides the whole 100 part, like when they in 100 they use Nen, but like there were still like Nen items, and then like Solo Leveling, they're just items you get as rewards and stuff, right? So you could get enchanted items and stuff. So we'll say their system is the same, but sort of like the plot and the main character stuff is where they sort of diverge apart.
Yeah, very different when you get down into like the plot and the relationships even in it, because Gon at least has a friend, where Sunwoo, I don't know if he really has a friend. Like, is he just using everyone in that?
No, the guy, the little brother, like in season. Did you watch season 2 or you watch season 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so
the
little
rich dude he
brother,
befriended, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's his genuine friend, and it looks like he's also going to be genuine friends with the lion guy. The Lion S rank guy.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be close friends with him as well because of what he did that favor.
That shit slapped when he was like, when he was just like, that's the second time you put your hand on me, but this time it wasn't a threat. I was like, hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that got me. Like that's how you know he got his respect. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, Solo Leveling came out of nowhere for me, bro. That
hmm
I was looking at it at first. Don't get me wrong, episode 1 was some shit.
Mhm.
like, oh, it says you gotta
It's like,
praise
whoa.
God. They praised them wrong. That shit said. But Solo Leveling, and just like a shout out to Kaiju number 8.
Mhm.
Solid
Kaiju number
series.
8.
Those
Oh,
two
yes.
animes to me, I think even to everybody else, caught everybody off guard
Mhm.
with how actually good it is. And the best part, in my opinion, of it is they actually are promoting more of the side characters than we realize.
Right.
Even now with Solo Leveling, you see his army and the generals that he has. We are invested in those generals still, even though they're not like main characters anymore. They're not villains and stuff anymore. But I'm like, oh, I wonder if dang, what was his first general?
Igris?
Igris.
Yeah.
I wonder if Igris is gonna start speaking when he hits that level.
Mhm.
And what does he have to say?
Yeah.
And we already see when he got the big dude, Tank, basically.
Yo, he's funny. Yo, he's so funny.
He's funny.
He's
Like,
a
he
meathead.
has a
He's
personality,
hilarious.
right? Like we become so invested in these side characters that should be just looked at as fodder,
hmm
and we're like, I wonder how they're gonna go.
Right.
So that's something I got to give the Solo Leveling, bro. At the same time, Hunter x Hunter, the guy, I don't know if y'all remember from the Chimera arc thing, one of the guys from the Hunter exam that we thought was a nice person, we literally watched him get lobotomized.
hmm
And I felt so fucking bad, bro. So it's like, man, but even though I love Hunter x Hunter,
Yeah.
I'm picking Solo Leveling on this one.
Oh, same. Yeah. Especially it's fresh in my head too. It just
It's
ended.
really fresh, yeah.
Oh my Jesus.
You could say Hunter x Hunter is way more emotional than Solo Leveling, honestly. That's what I would say. It's way more emotional.
I did want to say when you were talking about Hunter x Hunter and Naruto, though, both Gon and Naruto were like, oh, whatever. He could survive as a baby on his own. Peace. No one took care of them growing up.
No. Okay, hold on. I'm tired of the Hiruzen slander, okay? I'm tired, okay? Because let's be honest, right? Hiruzen said, I'll take care of Naruto. Cool. Naruto had a place to live. He had money. And we don't know how his actual childhood was, but we know that people were looking out for him. The friends, the kids in the village weren't there for him, though.
Right, they're ass.
Besides Shikamaru and Choji, and those are like chances.
Right.
We saw also Sasuke, right, grow up solo
hmm
and still end up polite. Like he still end up having, a structure. So we can probably blame the village for how Naruto was with the dirtiness and stuff. We cannot blame Hiruzen because Hiruzen was there. And whenever Naruto was in trouble, where did he go? He always went to Hiruzen. And Hiruzen didn't punish him or doing it. No, he just like taught him a lesson. Said, all right, you got to go back home now. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a ninja village.
Right.
So being lonely doesn't give a shit. like these are motherfuckers who are trained to kill at age 5. Right? I think what's his name? I think Itachi killed his first person when he was 8.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is a ninja village. This ain't village. This is a ninja village. Like, they don't give as long as you are taken care of as an alive. I'm not giving a shit. What gives a shit, bro? It's bad, but still. Oh man. All right. Well, oh yeah. For that one, I prefer Naruto. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah. I'll say the same.
Okay. Ooh, okay. This one's a good one. Okay, ready? Bam. Black Clover versus Naruto now. I'm gonna be Wizard King versus I'm gonna be Hokage. How do y'all think these two compare?
Let's see. Naruto and Naruto both are a lot of obnoxious as shit. They annoy their bestie, right? They're like, dude, why are you
Mhm.
so both of them, like Sasuke and Asta's buddy, both of them are like, yo, shut up. Why are you so loud the whole time? I would say Sakura is also still a mirror of I forget her name in Black Clover. Both are kind of like a little bit stuck up, but like kind
Yeah,
of snooty,
yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, all right, we're gonna hang out with this party.
Okay.
Technically, Asta didn't have powers until he got the black what are they called? Grimoire. Jesus.
Yeah,
The Black
he's
Grimoire.
anti-magic.
Yeah. For Naruto, technically he has a nuke in his belly, but he doesn't know how to access it.
Mhm.
But it's broken as hell when it came out
Okay.
for both of them.
Okay.
But actually, now that you pointed it out,
Mhm.
damn, yeah, it's kind of a mirror, actually.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, because you have the Nine Tails, which is a demon that can take over his body. Then you have the five leaf grimoire that can take
Mhm.
over his body.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
lose control.
You
Mhm.
also got to think in consideration, like they have an end goal, which is to be respected,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and it has nothing to do where you come from. It has something to do with your actions.
Mhm.
Right.
Now, I want to ask y'all a personal question. Do you think it's harder to be the Wizard King in Black Clover, or do you think it's harder to be the Hokage in Naruto?
It's definitely harder to be a Hokage, in my
What?
opinion.
All
I
right,
think
go
it's
ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, Jared. Let me hear your explanation.
So, first of all, this is always the thing with magic, especially. It always depends on what magic you got, right? Depending on how broken or how proud is. This man had time manipulation, bro. Are you kidding me? Time manipulation? That's top 5 broken powers that exist in all of anime. So from there, with
Mhm.
Naruto, man got all those jutsus and shit, blah blah blah. Also, Hiruzen was old as shit,
Yeah.
and he wasn't.
He wasn't.
We'll
he
call
was supposed to be
Hiruzen
retired.
sort
He
of
was
like-
supposed to be retired.
I would say he was a jack of all trades, sort of Hokage. Like don't
Yes.
get me wrong, he was good,
Yeah.
especially with his jutsus and techniques, but he wasn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't a special. It wasn't like, oh damn, he's busting out his fire techniques. We're done. You know what I mean?
Nah, actually, the opposite. Hiruzen was a specialist in almost every nature. jutsu.
Was he?
Yes.
Damn.
That's why he was called I think the genius Hokage or something like
Mm.
that. But he knew every elemental style.
Hmm.
He was really good at every elemental style. That's why they made it their mission when every Naruto game, when he summons the shadow clones of himself,
Hmm.
he's not using Menma, nothing like that. He's not using the monkey staff. He is hitting you with every elemental jutsu first,
Mhm.
and then he folds you. But
Absurd. Sorry.
but keep it going, because I know I get what you're saying though in regards
Mhm.
to the Hokage, because the village has to acknowledge you. That's number one.
Mhm.
But if you look at how the Hokage is, it's basically who's the strongest in the village,
Mhm.
and then that's it. They try to say like it's out of respect and stuff, all that, but let's be honest. You got Hashirama, number one. Nobody defeating Hashirama.
Right.
Number one. Hashirama dies. Tobirama now,
Mhm.
No such thing.
right? Tobirama dies.
Mhm.
Hiruzen now, who was trained by both of them, right? Hiruzen retires. Now you have two choices. They said 3 choices: Orochimaru, Fugaku, Sasuke's dad, and Minato. Even though they said Fugaku was almost as dangerous as Minato, everybody knew if you ran into Minato, you're dead.
Yep.
Yellow
Yep.
Flash.
Dude,
So
his fighting style.
it still went to the strongest person in the village.
Yeah.
Then you go Tsunade. Why did Tsunade get it? Because Jiraiya said no.
Mhm.
Jiraiya at the time, strongest person in the village. After the only time it didn't follow that is Kakashi.
Yeah. Shout out to Kakashi Kage.
And Kakashi literally said, I'm only Hokage because Naruto's not ready yet.
Yep.
And then it went to Naruto. And now it's Shikamaru. Why?
Oh, for real?
Now it's Shikamaru. But
Damn.
why is it Shikamaru? Because they
Genius.
realized, damn, we can't have only strong. We need somebody who's as smart,
Hmm.
right? So it really comes down to you as the individual and your power.
Mhm.
Wizard King, let's be real. If you're born in the Goonies, forget about it.
Because we
If
got
you're born on the
classism.
Yeah.
outside, if your
Mhm.
name isn't royalty or none of that,
Mhm.
you're done. Don't even think about. You saw what happened when Asta saved the literal entire kingdom,
Mhm.
and they still put him on trial.
Yep.
And they was like, "Oh, you ain't gonna confess? We gonna
Mm-hmm.
kill this little girl then, and make you do it.
Yep.
Somebody's got to go."
Mhm.
Right? You know what I'm saying? So, and mind you, that's not even just that. Like, then it becomes a might thing. So
Yeah.
not only do you have to have the influence, you gotta have the power.
Yeah.
Julie, nobody was defeating Julius.
Mm-mm.
Like you said, time magic,
Ridiculous.
nobody,
Yeah.
nobody was
Insane.
defeating Julius. But then you see the other in that movie too. You saw in the movie. You see the other past Wizard Kings,
Mhm.
and the current gen matches them.
Mhm.
Right? You know, was matching this other dude, but I mean, with help. For Mary Leona, shout out to Mary Leona, one of the goats of all anime. I don't care what y'all say. Mary Leona was going one-on-one with Homegirl and laughing about it.
Mhm.
She's got that Kenpachi vibes to her. That's what I love about her too.
You know what I'm
Straight
saying?
up berserker during a fight.
Mhm.
And then QC asked, right? He said, in Naruto, you can grind Black Clover. It's royalty. Nah. So both of them involve the grind. Both of them involve the grind. Here's the issue, though. Black Clover, you can exceed your limits. Naruto, you can't.
Yeah.
Because you have a set amount of chakra reserves.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what you could do with those chakra reserves. Meanwhile, we've seen if you grind your shit with your book, you create a new page, and then a new page, and a new page. Julius's page was so crazy, they was like, we can't even give him a cover. We just keep adding pages. Don't even don't even think. So
I have a question for you. Which job is harder, a Hokage or the Wizard King? I have mine. I know what I think is worse.
It's harder as Hokage.
Yeah.
Because it's more like being the president of the United States, basically.
Yeah.
It's like there's other nations you have to, all the other villages you have to, there's commerce, there's trade, there's politics involved with shit. Wizard King is like, bro, I'm the king of the whole country.
He's not. That's
no, he's not. That's what I was gonna say. So
He's
I'd
not.
say it's harder. I think it's harder to be the Wizard King because you got to deal with some idiot royal who thinks he's better than you. And I can't. I'm stubborn, man. I'm gonna just set that dude on fire and be like, don't know what happened.
Because so you gotta remember, Jared. It's like you have the figurehead and you got the person that actually made the decision.
Right.
But if that figurehead decides to make a decision, you have to go off that figurehead.
Yeah. And even you see it at the one festival when Julius is standing there and like the king's stomping his feet, trying to act more important than everything. And Julius is like, I think you stirred the crowd. These cheers are for you, not me. And it's like, nah, man, those cheers are for me. Shut up. No one likes you.
And Asta and Asta don't got no filter.
Nah.
So he said, like, why do we have this useless ass king? Like,
and they're
in front of him, by the way, in front of
stage,
everybody. It was in front of the whole kingdom. He's like, why do we have this useless ass king? Nobody really respects him. Everybody respects the Wizard King.
Yeah, he even says, like, why isn't Julius just the king?
Yeah, and he was like, he got pissed. He was like, I want them dead. I want them off with their heads. And Julius had to go like, all right, come on. We kind of need them. Like, you can't, don't do that.
Yeah.
He can't tell him like, don't do it because end of the day, that king, that royal king has the final say in everything. He's not, mind you, he's powerful, right? Because he has royal blood.
He's politically powerful.
Yeah, but it's like, again, baby with a nuke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's just basically it. So, Naruto, for example, though, like we see, first of all, Naruto needs shadow clones to stay home. So that's why I say Hiruzen slander, you ain't having it because Hiruzen wasn't doing shadow clones. That nigga was just old.
Right.
And he had to raise or help raise what's his name? His grandson. Because the parents died. That boy was supposed to, that dude Hiruzen was supposed to retire and live life flawlessly and just go home and drink some soup. But no, he had to take care of his grandson. He had to take care of the village. And then remember, this is around the time that the Itachi and everybody is going around. Orochimaru infiltrated the Sand village. The other villagers were basically like horrible.
Right.
And all their nukes were out of control.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's literally in Hiruzen's time. That's why they kind of categorize him as like the worst anime. Hokage is because he didn't get shit done.
Hmm.
He could have, but he was more like, instead of like, let me test you with my might, which is more like Toby Rama ish and stuff. He was more like, is y'all don't fuck with us?
Hmm.
Do whatever y'all want. Baby. You know what I'm saying? So, but if y'all had to choose between Black Clover and Naruto, which one?
Oh man. I recently watched Black Clover, so because it's fresher in my mind, I think I gotta stick with that. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go with Black Clover is more my favorite because I watched Naruto when it first came out, fell off, and then I came back for Shippuden, and I like was like I can't even watch the original. Like Shippuden was where it came back and got me, but yeah, I'd go Black Clover just because of that technicality.
Okay. What about you, Jared?
Technically, I didn't finish all of Black Clover yet.
Mm.
I still
didn't
watched
finish
the
it either.
movie and shit, which is fine. I don't care about spoilers. That's fine. But I think I still gotta go with Naruto though, as the OG.
Okay. If Naruto did not have Shippuden, I would have went with Black Clover.
That's fair.
But because of Shippuden and because of certain arcs, I'm gonna choose Naruto.
Boruto doesn't bring that back down.
It almost did.
Okay.
It almost did, but it's the same as like Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna put it against you. Like, you know? And mind you, I like GT, by the way. I like GT.
Okay. Is GT the one with the Fusioneering?
Super Saiyan 4.
Super Saiyan 4. Omega Shenron.
Okay.
Yeah. GT actually was the only Dragon Ball like series that had an actual like plot.
Okay.
That's the reason why people hate it, is because one, everybody wanted Goten and Trunks to go, not Pan, right? Who caused most of the damn shit in the first place.
Right.
Two, Goku was a kid again because they wanted to bring back the Dragon Ball fans. I think it was bad timing because of the fact like you see Daima is successful.
Yeah.
Right. People fail to realize like Dragon Ball Z didn't come out in 2000. It came out like 84,
Damn.
85, something like that. So Dragon Ball GT had already been out by 98, 99. We in the West, though, we started seeing GT in like 04, 05, even though they already made the games and had this, you know what I'm saying? The series was basically done, you know? So for us, it was like almost simultaneous. It was like Dragon Ball, ZZZ, GT. For the world, though, like it was like Dragon Ball already happened. They had a pause. Z happened, had a pause. Then GT was, I think, like maybe like 14 years or so after normal. So that's why they tried to make that happen.
Gotcha.
Right. So people shit on GT for no reason, though, in my opinion. I get it though, but it's like Oob is a great character. Omega Shenron was a great villain. Baby was a great villain. Super 17 didn't make sense because we already knew 17 was a good guy eventually, so like, that didn't make sense. And who else was a good one? I ain't gonna lie, they did finish the anime in the correct way though.
Okay.
Which was Goku, his battle is finally over. But because he basically merged with the dragon, he accepted his job now as Earth's guardian, which was, see, this is the best part, which was presented to him already as a child. Because the reason why Kami raised Goku was for Goku to take over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like a what do they call it? A callback. You know, so Goku has eternal life now. He can travel between worlds easily now and all that shit. It was good. All right. Now, this one is kind of it, but kind of not really. But you guys should know it. And then we're going to start to wrap up after. So we can make this one pretty quickly. But bam!
Gundam versus Code Geass.
Nice.
Right. So as y'all know, mech anime, right? Mech animes, in my opinion, have not been as popular as I think the world wants them to be. which is why we did get Attack on Titan, which is technically a mech anime. It's just
To meet mech.
It's meat.
Yes. Yep.
So basically, if you had to talk about mechs in general, we could have went with Gundam versus Code Geass, Gundam versus Gurren Lagann, Gundam versus goes Attack on Titan, and I think there's probably a new one out now by now, but everything's gone more like Pacific Rim based. So
Yeah.
like, what do you guys feel would be similar between the two? Maybe besides like just the fact that they're mechs.
I was gonna say I don't think I've actually watched Code Geass. I'm putting it on the list. Don't worry. But I was thinking about doing a Gundam thing myself when I was submitting stuff. I couldn't remember the name, and I just pulled it up. Knights of Sidonia, that was on Netflix. It's like an outer space mech one. It's pretty wild, but
There's also All Noah Zero. That's also a mech one.
yeah,
That's also a good one.
that's a good one.
Honestly, one of the things that you can actually compare between the two. So if y'all don't notice about Gundams, they're not just a suit. Gundams are actually alive. Like they have artificial evolving intelligence, but their potential is only unlocked by an ace pilot. That's why every Gundam is piloted by an ace. Same thing with Code Geass. They're alive. They have their own personalities, they have their own thing that they do, but it takes a certain person to actually unlock that power. There's also only 100 Gundams ever made. If y'all didn't know that, fun fact. So in the whole entire series, whenever there's no one yet, there's only 100 of them. The crazy scientists that made them only made 100, and that was it. And that's why, depending on what series you're watching, they're like, "Yo, we gotta find the Gundams," because, like, they're just hidden around the world, and they're really valuable, especially if you have the right person to unlock them. As we see, they're broken as shit when the right person's in the suit. So, in the middle of a war, kind of important.
Yeah,
That's-
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's like part of. It's been a while since I've watched any of the Gundams, but like, isn't that part of the whole world order? Is like, you don't want anyone else to have more Gundams than your country.
Exactly.
You need those Gundams.
And then on top of that, with Code Geass is like they started to bring out specialized mechs, which like if you yourself were not skilled or anything with them, they can basically destroy you. Like that's just how it go now. Eric, man, you need to watch it, bro, because basically there's always a discussion between who's smarter, right? Lelouch, right, in Code Geass, or Light Yagami.
Oh, Light
You know what I'm
sucks.
but all of Code Geass is, and this is why I love Full Metal, kind of relate to Full Metal Alchemist. All of Code Geass is basically Lelouch's plans being enacted.
Okay.
And to kind of, for those watching, picture the world how it is now, right? Picture the world how it is now, except America basically invaded Japan. And they lost, Japan lost, right? But then you have Japanese citizens.
Right.
Basically, what Code Geass is that one of these royalty-blooded American kind of children also is Japanese, right? So he kind of hates how the Japanese and the world works. Like, he hates how the Japanese are oppressed, like the war's going on all the time, people getting bombed, people getting nuked, and he's tired of it. And he encounters a woman who gives him the power of Geass.
Okay.
Geass.
You think you're gonna be like, yeah.
It's basically how to control somebody, but you can only do it once, and it's only one command. So if you already tell somebody to do something, you cannot tell them to do something again. That's not how it works. So I could be like, hey, get me a sandwich with Geass, right? And then if you bring me back the wrong sandwich and I go, get me another sandwich, it's not gonna work. Now you're gonna look, and you can't remember being Geassed. So you're gonna look at you and look at your sandwich and go, why do I have a sandwich? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So picture that, but more in the political sense now.
Okay.
You're gonna set this person free. You're gonna follow this direction. You're gonna do that. Man, you need to look up my boy Lelouch D. Patania. He is a goat. So for those who aren't recognizable yet, we said a couple animes that you probably haven't really heard of. So far, from what I'm seeing, and you guys could give some as well. Darker Than Black, gonna see that shit.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Black Clover, definitely see that. If you haven't seen Solo Leveling, tune the fuck in.
Mhm.
Tune the fuck in. Like I can't like explain it further. Like tune in.
Yep.
And if you tune into Solo Leveling, you know what? No, don't do Solo Leveling yet. Look at Kaiju number 8 first.
Yeah.
Go Kaiju number 8 first because the season ended about a few months ago. That season, I think it was only like 12 episodes, something like that. Look that up first. Finish that first. Then go to Solo Leveling. It's low-key not the same art, but it's similar.
Yeah.
So that transition is going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
And we haven't
then
brought up,
for-
I was going to say,
yeah.
we haven't brought up the one debate that everyone always complains about, but it doesn't matter for the viewers. It's fully subtitled, fully dubbed right now too on Crunchyroll. So
Yeah.
for Solo Leveling. So whichever way you like to watch.
And let's be
And,
real. This is my last thing when I say this. For people who always criticize the dub, you're welcome. You know why you're welcome? Because the only reason you can criticize it is because you understand what the fuck they're saying. Okay. Like you don't know, right? That in this sentence they were supposed to yell. So you take it when you hear the sub
Mhm.
and he goes, yeah, right, and he's screaming, and then the subtitle says "my cat," right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, that's so much emotion.
Mhm.
And then when the person who comes on just goes, "Ah, my cat," and you go, "There's not enough emotion."
Yeah.
You don't know that first person could have did it wrong, but because you don't understand their language or
Yeah.
mannerisms, you try to shit on the one that you do understand. So,
Yeah, I'll say this with Solo Leveling though, because I'm addicted to it, man. I was watching it. It'd come out subtitled. I'd watch it that day. I'd wait for the dub to come out and watch the episode again. So like, I was like, I gotta watch it. And even then, there's slight differences, but it's not ruining the story for you at all.
For the anime awards, I know Solo Leveling's in the running too. And once again, I'm gonna throw it in there again. If you've not watched Frieren, Journey's End, it's in the running too for the top one. One of the best slice of life / magic fantasy ones I've ever watched. Once again, if you haven't watched it,
Both of your guys' suggestions, I gotta say, I've tuned into some of them. I'm like, damn, like this shit's amazing. Like RE0, Jared, I think you had sent me that. I powered through that. I still think I have a little bit more left, but I almost finished that thing like right away.
really good.
Yeah.
And like
Re:Zero is fucked up. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Y'all.
it's
Make sure you have a strong stomach for how that nigga dies sometimes.
Yeah. But if you do want to compare dub versus sub, like especially like people don't realize it, like it depends on who it is. So if you go watch One Piece, right? Specifically the one scene, Ace dying and Luffy breaking down, the Japanese dub versus the English dub, Japanese dub is way better. Bro, that man, his screams in the Japanese dub were blood curdling in comparison to the English one. Where he's just crying, going, Ace. Japanese actor, boy was acting his ass off. I thought I really was watching someone who lost their brother dying in their arms. That man was screaming and crying. Completely different. But anyway.
New animes that I've watched, by the way, too, though, real quick. The Lazarus one I told you guys about before the show I started, I think. They do make Cowboy Bebop. It's his new show. It's actually coming out in English first, and then they're dubbing it in Japanese.
Oh.
Which is wild. It's very different. I don't know any other animes that have done that. And then I checked out one that's on Crunchyroll, Link Click, where like this dude can look at a photo of someone and see their future. So he's kind of like doing some detective work with like a buddy he befriended and everything. And then like his buddy awakens a power when he's looking at a photo. He's all of a sudden in the history of where the photo was taken at that time and place. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, I will say Reddit does like to ship the two together as they do. So don't look it up on Reddit. Just watch the show.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Also, isekais. For those who don't know what isekais are, it's when somebody dies and goes into another world.
Either one.
So again, my goal is, of course, reincarnate as a slime for that. But if you want to get a full understanding of how that works, always remember this: you start off with the one that made it as popular as possible. Do not start off with the one that made it. Start off with the one that made it popular as possible. Inuyasha is the one that made it.
Mhm.
Okay, Inuyasha is the one that made it. She went to another world. The one that made it possible, like sharing it and stuff like that, is Sword Art Online.
Mm.
Sword Art Online, you watch that. You don't need to watch season 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, you don't need
Season
to do
1.
that. Just season 1 to get an understanding of how isekais work. After that, then go into other ones where basically you're gonna find the same thing. Like this person died, and then they became a new OP ass person
Mhm.
in the next world. Now, if you want one that's like very funny, Konosuba.
Mm.
All right. If you want
Hilarious.
one that's like hilarious, and I mean hilarious, it's Konosuba. If you want one that's a mix of hilarious and action, you go Slime. There's also this other anime. It goes into those like niches of what's it called? OP ass character. I'm trying to.
Mhm.
Okay, this. Okay, this. Okay, I'm not even. I'm not even wrong. Okay, I'm not joking with y'all. The anime is called "A Newbie Old Man Adventurer is trained to death by the strongest party and becomes invincible."
Oh my god, jeez, it's a long ass title.
Dude, they keep getting longer. I feel like I've seen them all the time pop up. I'm like, that's a paragraph, my guy.
Man. But the anime is fun, and you're not gonna be disappointed. It's the same trope as OP character, but the trope of the OP character is I don't know that I'm OP.
Okay.
I was raised by people who was OP. I didn't know I was OP, and he still never figures out that he's OP.
The Osen newbie, you said Osen?
I think so. It might be.
Yeah.
Do you see an orc and like an elf behind him and stuff?
Oh, there's definitely an elf.
Like is he wearing like a red vest?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sleeveless
him.
vest. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's him.
I'm adding that.
Yeah, the Osen Newbie Adventurer. So that one is amazing.
Okay.
Like it's short, it's to the point, but you are going to enjoy everything. And by the way, it's one of those things where I think you guys may have seen it on TikTok, where the character
Fucking.
oh damn,
What are you doing?
where the character was like doing spells to gauge how powerful they were,
Mhm.
and everybody was doing these like level 5, level 6 spells, and he only knows level 1 spells, but they're basically like, all right, to put in perspective, right? They go fireball, those fireball come out, hit it, right? And everybody's like, oh my god, that's so amazing, right? Like, oh, you did it. And he goes fireball, meteor. Like that's how strong he is. So definitely tune into that as well, man.
Yeah. You reminded me. I only watched a few episodes of it, but it's another one with an extremely long title that I was like, oh, I gotta watch this because the title. I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo my boss to clock out on time.
What the fuck?
Oh, I heard about that one. That's the one. Like
Really?
she's OP, but basically she wants to get off of work on time. So like if there's a dungeon causing problems, she goes and solos the dungeon
She
and kills
puts
the
on
boss.
she'll put on a hood and show up in the dungeon while this party's there, murk the boss, and then go back to her desk. And they're like,
Oh,
someone just
shit.
showed up and murdered the boss because she wants to clock out in time.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, I'm never gonna tune into that shit too.
Yeah.
I might do it tonight, actually. Shit. But all right. Whoo, that was a good one, y'all.
Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for tuning in to Code Red Anime as always. How do y'all feel like about doing like a tier list? So
Oh yeah.
kind of have everything lined up. We can go for genres and stuff like that. Some I need to watch is Monster, by the way. I need to watch Monster. I heard it's a good thriller / mystery. But yeah, no, we appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. We appreciate y'all for tuning in on a Saturday night. And we wish you guys nothing but the best. We appreciate all the support that you guys give us. And like I said, any anime suggestions, bro, you can find us anywhere. You guys have our socials. Shout out to Eric. By the way, Eric, Plug your YouTube, bro. Plug your
Oh
YouTube.
yeah, I do YouTube and Twitch. Fluffy Lovin'.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
find it. You'll see it. Logo's Fluffy Lovin', but I do a lot of live streams on Twitch, and then I do
Mhm.
like specific YouTube exclusive content videos as well, where I'll do quick looks at games and stuff that I'm not going to stream. It's 20, 30 minutes of a game. I just want to show people. So yeah,
Mhm.
be sure to check me out there. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So everybody make sure you follow Eric as
Subscribe.
always
Mhm.
and subscribe. Yes, definitely
Yeah.
subscribe. And then like when you see his channels, put some shares up. Put some shares up. I see tomorrow's and I quote coffee and quote cozy stream.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. So on the weekends, I'll do that. I'll make a pot of coffee in the morning, get
Mhm.
up around like 9 o'clock, set it up for 10 a.m. at Eastern time, and just pick a cozy game I got on my list and play it. Sometimes I switch it up, and I've been doing co-op Cult of the Lamb. It's a cute looking game. It ain't a cute game though. But we do that. So I change it coffee and cute with that one. But
Oh, I see it. I see it right here. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. So make sure you guys tune in for that as well. And like I said, any questions, just hit us up and we'll let you know. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all, man.
Peace.